2025 is going to end up being a monumental and eventful year, but is that a good thing? No! In this video, you'll find out why and what's in store for us in 2025. We'll tell it to you straight, things you might not have heard in some other media channels, and we'll even tell you who to blame. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss your ass goodbye if we don't stop this train wreck of a year from continuing its projected path. All aboard! In a year already marked by seismic shifts and shadowed by auguries of decline and struggle, we ask, what will 2025 bring? Welcome to Renaissance Spirit, where we merge history, politics, and culture with an unflinching lens of reason and compassion. Today, we tackle the most pressing questions about the year ahead in an America reshaped by Donald Trump's return to power and Elon Musk's unparalleled influence. For those of you who engaged with our video are conservatives and some Republicans fascists, this video serves as both an update and an expansion, answering burning questions about what lies ahead. Before diving into 2025, let's take a moment to reflect on 2024 and ask, was I right? In our previous discussions and predictions, I cautioned that 2024 would be fraught with perils and frustrations, unlike anything we had seen in our lifetimes. I anticipated a year of political upheaval, global instability, and domestic challenges that would test our resolve. So, was I right? Unfortunately, yes, and in ways that were both expected and unforeseen. Politically, the erosion of democratic norms deepened as authoritarian tendencies gained ground in the United States and abroad. Global instability surged, with conflicts escalating in regions like Ukraine and the Middle East, as predicted. Domestically, economic disparities worsened, inflation pressures persisted, and climate disasters became more frequent and severe, fulfilling the grim augury of a nation struggling against both internal and external forces. The Doomsday Clock, which advanced to 90 seconds to midnight in 2023, the closest it has ever been, didn't move in 2024. The 2023 shift reflected escalating global threats, from nuclear proliferation to artificial intelligence and the Russia-Ukraine war. For 2025, the Science and Security Board of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists will consider even more factors, including the ongoing Israel-Hamas and Israel-Hezbollah conflicts, biothreats, and the unrelenting climate crisis. My prediction? The clock inches closer, underscoring humanity's precarious position. Globally, the climate crisis accelerates. Climate refugees, once a distant concept, are now a stark reality. The Greenland ice sheet melts faster than predicted, and the Pacific Island nations brace for extinction. As the U.S. retreats from international climate commitments in 2025, the world watches in despair. 2024 surpassed 2023 as the hottest year on record, according to NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This devastating milestone highlights the accelerating pace of climate change, with 2025 likely to set new records unless transformative actions are taken. The Gulf Stream and the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation (AMOC) are showing signs of instability, threatening catastrophic shifts in global weather patterns. Expect more flooding, droughts, tornadoes, famines, and hurricanes as climate systems grow increasingly erratic. The question now is whether entire cities may need to be abandoned due to these worsening conditions. Places like Centralia, Pennsylvania, already deserted due to underground fires, serve as harbingers of what could come. Coastal cities like Miami or New Orleans, battered by rising sea levels, may soon face similar fates in the years ahead if trends continue. This 2024 reflection is not about self-congratulation or undue humility, but about learning from what we got right and wrong. It's a reminder to approach 2025 with both caution and determination, and maybe highlight my bona fides as well. And with that, let's move forward. Next stop, January 20th, 2025. Welcome to Inauguration Day, whether you want it or not. Let's start with a bang. Is America a fascist nation now that Trump is back in office? The answer, grim as it seems, lies in the definition of fascism itself. a merger of corporate and state power, the erosion of democratic norms, and the vilification of others. With Musk playing both kingmaker and corporate overlord, the line between government policy and billionaire ambition has vanished. As Musk's companies gain influence in defense, transportation, and even communication, thanks to his control over satellite networks, we must question if this unchecked concentration of power is ethical, sustainable, or survivable. Trump's second administration plans to dismantle legal rights, from rolling back environmental protections to targeting dissent through chilling measures against press freedom. Trump's flirtation with annexing Canada, Greenland, and Panama, once dismissed as hubris, has taken a more ominous tone, supported by propaganda campaigns that paint these moves as essential to make America great again. The calls to manifest destiny, to Lebensraum. Trump's peculiar foreign policy is a bronzed Janus. He wants to stay out of the rest of the world's troubles except for the countries he plans to annex. If he puts those goals to action, democracy the world over will feel its long decline into darkness. In America, expect further erosion of safety nets. Programs like Social Security and Medicaid face existential threats as budget cuts are rebranded as fiscal responsibility. All the while, the oil barons get their subsidies, and the rich get lower and lower taxes, which means less money for safe roads and streets, the air, the water, and everything else. The courts, stacked with loyalists, corruption, and conflicts of interest, provide little recourse. America's experiment in democracy is teetering, and whether it survives rests on the will of its people. Moreover, in our video, are conservatives and some Republicans fascists? We analyze the Republican Party using the 5 stages of fascism as defined by the Council on Foreign Relations, concluding that the U.S. was teetering between stages 4 and 5. Under Project 2025, even a single sweeping action by Trump, such as criminalizing dissent and protests or granting Musk unchecked authority over communications, could tip the nation fully into stage 5, openly authoritarian and fascist rule. From a legal perspective, such actions undermine constitutional protections and the balance of powers. Morally and ethically, they represent a betrayal of civic virtues and compassion, leading to a society where might makes right, and damned the rest of us, like me and you. To understand this in greater depth, we strongly encourage you to revisit that video and engage with its critical analysis. Income inequality is no longer a talking point. It's a way of life. With corporate monopolies tightening their grip, the average American's standard of living continues to decline. Inflation will likely rise, and wages won't keep up. Housing crises deepen as private equity gobbles up real estate, forcing families into ever smaller spaces for ever higher rents. Meanwhile, Musk's ventures in energy, AI, and transportation promise innovation but also raise ethical questions. Is Starlink a communication tool or a surveillance weapon? Are Tesla's advancements in self-driving cars liberating us, or simply automating economic obsolescence? Elon Musk's unprecedented dual role as a billionaire industrialist and de facto government official has created glaring conflicts of interest. His wealth and influence challenge the very concept of democracy. Does Musk genuinely seek humanity's betterment, or is he driven by ego, profit, and control? His control over critical infrastructure makes him arguably more powerful than any elected leader, and his decisions will shape not only America's trajectory but the world's. Can the world constrain Musk? Realistically, it would take coordinated international action. Policies that raise taxes on the richest and cap income and accumulated wealth, perhaps at levels far lower than $1 billion, could curb the power of ultra-wealthy individuals. Advocates for such measures argue that billionaires do more harm than good, concentrating resources in ways that distort democracy, stall innovation, and exacerbate inequality, not to mention their oversized carbon footprint. Far from being engines of progress, billionaires function as bottlenecks, steering global priorities to align with personal interests rather than collective needs. Should anyone really have more money than they could spend in several lifetimes while many Americans are barely paying their bills or making ends meet? According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, 2023 saw a 12.1% increase over 2022. The 2024 numbers haven't been published yet, but it's a fair guess that these numbers will have increased in 2024 and will do so again in 2025. These things will only get worse if there isn't a groundswell of support for change. 2025 could very well be the year of Trump, Musk, or the protester, although protesting will be more challenging and probably more dangerous in 2025, if Trump's rhetoric is any indicator. The very idea of limiting wealth strikes at the heart of free market ideologies. But growing public frustration with income disparity might force governments to reevaluate their approach. Musk's ability to use his fortune to influence politics, dominate industries, and control information highlights the risks of leaving wealth unchecked. Will Gaza be obliterated? With tensions in the Middle East at an all-time high, the possibility looms large. Trump's alliance with hardline Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel has emboldened actions that defy international law. Netanyahu has even been issued an arrest warrant by the International Criminal Court. Meanwhile, China's aggressive posturing in Taiwan and Russia's continued belligerence in Eastern Europe and the Caucasus ensure that global instability is the order of the day. The future of Ukraine in 2025 hangs by a thread. After years of war and Western support, Ukraine faces increasing pressure from a more aggressive Russia, emboldened by Trump's indifference to democratic and NATO principles. Neighboring countries like Poland and the Baltic states are sounding alarms, fearing they could be next in Moscow's sights. Haiti, plagued by political instability and natural disasters, sees little support from a U.S. administration disinterested in nation-building. Sudan's ongoing civil conflict remains a humanitarian catastrophe. Despite international aid, Trump's America First policy will pull back critical resources, leaving millions at risk of famine and violence. Elsewhere in Africa, 2025 is poised for both opportunities and challenges. The continent's economy is expected to grow by 3.9%, driven by resource-rich sectors and infrastructure development through initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative, despite high debt and political instability. Cultural contributions, such as the global rise of artists like Thames and Angelique Kidjo, highlight Africa's growing influence. However, regional tensions persist, such as the ongoing dispute between Egypt and Ethiopia over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Egypt fears reduced access to vital Nile water resources, while Ethiopia views the dam as key to its energy and economic aspirations, intensifying diplomatic and geopolitical friction. Other hotspots include the Korean Peninsula, where North Korea's nuclear ambitions grow unchecked, and the South China Sea, where territorial disputes could spark wider conflicts. Venezuela's economic collapse and widespread corruption continue to drive migration crises throughout Latin America, straining relations with neighboring countries. In Syria, the political landscape is shifting following the ousting of Bashar al-Assad in late 2024. The new government, led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, pledges inclusivity, while European nations like France and Germany are seeking fresh diplomatic ties. The region faces security challenges, with U.S. and French troops possibly deploying to stabilize northern Syria amid tensions between Turkey and Kurdish forces. The anticipated return of up to 1 million refugees poses humanitarian and infrastructure strains, emphasizing the need for international collaboration. These developments will test Syria's capacity for unity and recovery while reshaping its regional and global relationships. Under a Trump-Musk administration, international alliances weaken further, and global hotspots grow more volatile. As U.S. foreign policy retreats into isolationism and corporate interests dominate international decision-making, the potential for global crises escalates. As America grapples with political, economic, and environmental upheavals, more citizens are asking whether it's time to seek opportunities abroad. Certain groups, particularly those most impacted by current policies, are more likely to consider emigration. Marginalized communities, including LGBTQ+ individuals, immigrants, and people of color, may feel especially vulnerable. Meanwhile, wealthier Americans and those deeply rooted in conservative ideologies may be the least inclined to leave, either due to financial insulation or ideological alignment with the current administration. For those seriously considering a move, the choice of destination is critical. Here are 10 countries, ranked from easiest to hardest to immigrate to for Americans. 1. Albania. Known for its affordability and simple visa requirements, Albania has emerged as a hidden gem for expats. Americans can stay visa-free for up to a year, and residency permits are relatively easy to obtain. 2. Portugal. The Golden Visa program offers a pathway to residency through investment, while the country's low cost of living and high quality of life make it a top choice. 3. Mexico. With its proximity to the U.S., friendly visa policies, and vibrant expat communities, Mexico is an increasingly popular destination. A temporary resident visa can lead to permanent residency. 4. Costa Rica. Known for its focus on sustainability and pura vida lifestyle, Costa Rica offers easy residency options for retirees and remote workers. 5. Canada. While Trump's annexation rhetoric looms, Canada remains a stable option for Americans. Programs like Express Entry and provincial nominee systems cater to skilled workers. 6. Uruguay. Progressive and peaceful, Uruguay offers a welcoming environment with straightforward residency processes and excellent public services. 7. New Zealand. For those seeking natural beauty and political stability, New Zealand is a dream destination. However, its immigration system favors skilled workers and those with job offers. 8. Germany. A strong economy and robust social safety net make Germany attractive, though language barriers and stricter immigration policies can pose challenges. 9. Ireland. With a shared language and a rich cultural heritage, Ireland appeals to many Americans. However, obtaining residency often requires proof of ancestry or significant financial resources. 10. Australia. Known for its high quality of life, Australia's immigration system is competitive and favors skilled workers. The process can be lengthy and requires significant documentation. Let's discuss some common questions about emigration. Is it difficult to leave the U.S.? While leaving is logistically straightforward, the emotional and financial toll can be significant. Careful planning is essential. Can I retain my U.S. citizenship? In most cases, yes. The U.S. allows dual citizenship, though tax obligations remain. What should I consider before moving? Research the political climate, healthcare system, and cultural attitudes of your destination. Language barriers and cost of living are also critical factors. Is emigration worth it? For some, the promise of stability, safety, and opportunity abroad outweighs the challenges of uprooting their lives. For others, the fight to improve their homeland remains paramount. Think of it this way. Musk, the richest man in the world, has 3 known passports. Maybe it wouldn't be bad to have 1 or 2? And before we go, let's talk about the Faustian bargain that is nuclear power. Bill Gates' push for advanced nuclear energy and 3 Mile Island's ghost remind us of the unresolved dangers of nuclear power. While proponents argue it's a solution to climate change, the risks of meltdowns and the challenge of storing waste for tens of thousands of years demand sober reflection. Will our children's children even be able to read English or decipher the nuclear symbols? And the idea of 3 Mile Island reopening in 2028 to feed Microsoft supercomputers concerns me for a few reasons. Shouldn't we revisit nuclear power? And the idea of Microsoft needing that much power scares me for the large S and the potential future issues of scarcity. The year 2025 unfolds as a pivotal moment in humanity's story, marked by sweeping transformations, daunting challenges, and the ever-present potential for renewal. Globally, societies grapple with a shifting geopolitical landscape, intensified by tensions among the U.S., China, and Russia over Taiwan, Ukraine, and global trade. Activism around inequality, social justice, and climate action surges, alongside a rising call for international cooperation on issues like pandemics and environmental sustainability. The United States, shaped by demographic changes, sees its diverse younger generations. Millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha shaping cultural, economic, and political trends, even as an aging population strains healthcare, social security, and the labor market. Migration patterns are shifting as urbanization slows, with more people seeking refuge from climate risks in smaller cities and safer regions. Though this trend is still in its infancy, artificial intelligence, AI, continues to revolutionize industries, driving efficiency and innovation while raising ethical, climate, and economic concerns. Advances in generative AI, autonomous systems, and machine learning are transforming sectors such as healthcare, finance, transportation, and education. However, these same technologies amplify threats, including misinformation, data privacy breaches, and cyber attacks. Workforce dynamics are profoundly shifting as automation replaces repetitive tasks, creating a demand for reskilling while displacing jobs in manufacturing and customer service. Stricter regulations and ethical frameworks are urgently needed to balance AI's potential to address pressing societal issues against its capacity to exacerbate inequalities and disrupt traditional employment. Policymakers and industries face a critical challenge: to harness AI as a tool for equity, progress, and innovation, rather than division and exploitation. In public health, 2025 presents a dual narrative of crisis and opportunity. As the world continues to recover from the pandemic, expanded vaccination campaigns target diseases like malaria and polio, particularly in low-income nations, offering hope for bolstering global healthcare systems. Yet mental health crises exacerbated by economic inequality, loneliness, and addiction remain prominent worldwide. The opioid crisis in North America and rising stimulant use in Europe and Asia strain already fragile healthcare systems. Innovative policy interventions, alongside growing investments in telehealth and community-based programs, offer pathways toward a more holistic approach to mental well-being. The potential for geomagnetic storms in 2025 adds a new dimension to societal challenges. Increased solar activity during this period could result in disruptions to global technology and infrastructure, including satellite communications, power grids, and navigation systems. While geomagnetic storms may inconvenience modern life, they also offer a spectacle. Breathtaking displays of the northern and southern lights, visible further from the poles than usual. These natural wonders remind us of the interplay between the cosmic and the terrestrial, urging preparation and resilience in the face of uncertainty. Yes, 2025 appears daunting. Climate change, economic turbulence, political unrest, and misinformation loom large. Social discourse is further imperiled by figures like Mark Zuckerberg, whose contradictory stance on free speech exacerbates the spread of lies and vitriol. Mortality rates may rise and quality of life may fall. But despair is not an option. The eternal struggle between light and darkness is fought not only in policy but within each of us. This is our moment to embody reason and compassion, to be a beacon of hope in a world desperate for both. But hope remains. A growing public interest in understanding the historical roots of modern issues, such as nationalism, economic inequality, and democracy, reflects humanity's search for meaning and solutions in uncertain times, and is what our channel is for. Ancient civilizations, especially Rome, continue to capture the imagination, inspiring reflections on governance, leadership, and morality. As we face contemporary challenges, the lessons of the past provide vital context and wisdom for building a just and equitable future. In 2025, the rise of global citizenship movements underscores the recognition of humanity's shared responsibility for social and environmental challenges. These movements advocate for solidarity across borders, promoting cooperative solutions to issues like climate change, poverty, and inequality. The ideals of the Renaissance spirit reason, compassion, and discovery echo in these efforts, inspiring hope that a more connected and humane world is possible. To the Democratic Party, act boldly. Embrace progressive policies, fight voter suppression, and resist the tide of authoritarianism threatening democracy itself. To our viewers, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay hopeful. Explore our videos, such as Are Conservatives and Some Republicans Fascists? And Americans Don't Like to Talk About Money. Let the Renaissance spirit, the eternal flame of discovery, reason, and compassion guide us all. Together, we can transform 2025 into a year not of decline, but of renewal. Not of shadow, but of a billion flames burning as one through the darkness.